Thank you, Bwana Chairman. And today, I've learned that you Ezra Odondi. And so today I've also learned Wabuyabu called Ambutsi. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. When you're called upon to launch a strategic plan, you first of all check whether the organization itself is strategic. So when I walked in, my first business was to check who is around the room, so that I know whether the CEO and the board chair has run a strategic plan that is being welcomed by the strategic partners. So the first person I noticed that was around was the chair, KPLC. Then you know that nuclear means business, because when you see the off-taker who is going to guarantee the PPA around, then you know that there is serious business. Then you realize that next to her, you see REREC. And then you realize that this power is going to be taken all over the country, to all over, to including the rural areas. Then you walk around and notice that you have Kengen in the room. And the Kengen can either become an operator, because their business is to generate power, and they are not limited to generating power using geothermal and hydro. Then all of a sudden you realize that you can see National Cancer Institute, then you can see Kenya Nuclear Regulatory Board, then you realize that even the authorities are with us, because the Kenya Nuclear Regulatory Board, its main role is to regulate on nuclear development. Then you look around and you see ODPP. Then you realize that Ezra and team wants to ensure that whatever comes is well taken care of by the ODPP. So ladies and gentlemen, when I was listening to Winnie Dubai, who articulated very well the national, the nuclear strategic plan, and I also had a chance of looking at it, I must say that you did a good job, and please clap for yourselves. And I want to first of all speak to 2 or 3 people. Number one, you may ask yourself, and usually we have a lot of naysayers. When the word nuclear is mentioned, we have a lot of naysayers who are seriously worried. Then they'll ask you, why are you developing nuclear? Have you exhausted geothermal? Have you exhausted water? Why is it that we must generate power using nuclear? But the answer is very simple and clear. Today, we are comfortable as a country with a new peak load of 2185 megawatts, as at last week, Wednesday. We are seeing tremendous growth in terms of demand for power, and that is organic growth for power. We are looking at industrializing this country. So think about 10, 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, when one will have achieved 100% power connectivity, when we are talking of a population of excess of 70 million people, when we are talking of a GDP and a budget of 8 trillion, 10 trillion and above, then you also look at your country. And indeed, we are blessed because we have enough geothermal, that is about 10,000 megawatts, which we have not fully exploited, yes. We don't have a lot of resources left to exploit in terms of hydro. We still have good resources to exploit in wind, but realize that wind is a variable, intermittent source of power. And also realize that we have good potential of solar, but again, it's also a variable intermittent power. So therefore, you realize that we want to industrialize as a country with only one base load. It is not strategic enough for us to develop a country with one base load, that is geothermal. And that is why we must have a candid conversation about development of nuclear power. And I like the timelines in which nuclear power you have set of 2034. Because around 2034, one, we have an agenda of having green power by the year 2030. By 2034, all the power plants, 2035, all the thermal power plants, about 500 megawatts, will be retiring. What shall we replace with as a country when we retire those power plants? Shall we, if we don't plan well, end up load shedding? And if we do load shed, who will be held accountable? It is those of us who are here at that time. And the Kenyans will say, you people refuse to plan. And when you refuse to plan, you are planning to fail. And because we are here, all of us, we are not going to allow ourselves to plan to fail, regardless of the difficulties that we are experiencing through legal hurdles, people going down there in coast, inciting a few people. We must soldier on. We must soldier on. Stakeholder involvement must be top of the agenda. We must continue to plan. When we are launching this strategic plan, which is the second, I do believe, the first one was 2018 to 2023. This is the second one. We have three main agendas in this one. We must look at the site. Then we talk about the owner-operator. Then last but not least, the construction, of which CEO and Chair you have spoken into. So definitely then, we know the areas that we need to do a lot of heavy weight lifting. They are clearly spelled out. And today we are launching the True North. And this strategic plan is the True North. It is going to be our guiding light. Guiding light, like the three wise men in the Bible. You know, the three wise men, they looked at the star, they followed it, and when they got there, they found the birth of Jesus Christ. So today we are launching our True North, our guiding light, which is the strategic plan. We should be followed religiously, like that star that led the wise men to where Jesus Christ had been born. With those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to first of all bring greetings from our CS, who was given urgent assignments in regard to petroleum. He is out of the country because he has to ensure that we have what we call security of supply, not only for power, but also for fuel. And you realize from 2022 September, you have not had a shortage of fuel in your gas stations, in your petrol stations. It's because of the kind of work that our CS is doing together with the PS Petroleum. So I bring greetings from our CS. I also bring greetings from my own individual self, who was supposed to be away, but the fact that Waziri was away, we realized we cannot both be away, and so therefore I had to sit in because his engagement was much more urgent. So Chair, I bring the apologies of our CS and also his greetings. I am delighted to join you today as we launch the 2023-27 Nuclear Power and Energy Agency Strategic Plan, a roadmap that will guide the agency and the sector through the next 5 years as we strive to fulfill Kenya's mission of harnessing the power of nuclear energy for the betterment of our society and the advancements of our nation. Energy is a very critical component to guarantee economic development. This entails the availability and the accessibility of energy at an affordable price. The government has identified energy as one of the key enablers of achieving Vision 2030. Access to clean, environmentally friendly, competitively priced, reliable, quality, safe, and sustainable energy is essential for achievement of Kenya's Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Kenya is committed to implementing its nuclear power program while adhering to the highest international standards. Some of the key steps undertaken by Kenya so far include training of Kenyans in nuclear-related courses, both locally and abroad, development of legal and regulatory framework for a nuclear power program, stakeholder involvement with a broad range of individuals, institutions, and organizations, as well as technical and feasibility studies, highlighted by the identification of 2 suitable locations for the first nuclear power plant, which are located in Kilifi and Kwale counties respectively. Kenya has also commenced the process of ascending and ratifying relevant international treaties and conventions that relate to nuclear safety. Ladies and gentlemen, implementation of the Kenya Nuclear Power Program offers a unique combination of reliability, affordability, and a low carbon emission, making it an indispensable component of our energy future. It is a catalyst for economic growth, a driver of technological innovation, and a cornerstone of our efforts to combat climate change. As the Energy Agency launched the 2023-27 strategic plan, the Ministry's leadership will offer necessary support to ensure that the outcomes of the strategic plan are met and the mandate of NUPEA is realized as the country progresses with the delivery of the first nuclear power plant by the year 2034. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, let us embrace the opportunities that lie ahead of us with optimism, determination, and a sense of purpose. Let us commit ourselves to the pursuit of a future powered by clean, reliable, and sustainable energy, and let us work together as partners and as stewards of our planet to realize the full potential of nuclear energy for the benefit of all. It gives me great pleasure to launch the strategic plan. Thank you, and may God bless you. Asanteni sana.